Battlegrounds meta preparation video. Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. So we're going to look at some options and some counters. So options for defenders and options for counters when it comes to the new nodes that are dropping tomorrow. So as you know, Season 4 Battlegrounds is going to drop tomorrow, January 4th of January 2023. And to get out of Victory Track, which is the easier of the two, there's still stuff like Electric Defense, Hit Me, I Dare You in the other ones, especially when you go into Gladiator Circuit. But it's really kind of handy from the first part because then you go into things like Spaced Armor, Stalwart Shield. But in any case, to the point. And putting up and fielding some good champions against Electric Defense and also Hit Me, I Dare You is going to be the main kind of topic of this particular video. Some things to mention is you don't have to follow this, like you don't have to have these as defenders. It's just a case of these play into the meta. And also Kabam referred to these as buffs, armor up buffs. It's still unknown whether or not these will interact with things like armor effects, like the way Iron Man Infinity War has the passive armors. So it's like molecular armor, which is a passive armor, which, as it says on this particular like meta explanation by Kabam, is that each time the defender is struck while under the effect of an armor up buff, they will power burn. So armor up buff. So that's what, again, I'm treating this very literally, very Drax-like in this. But if it does change, then we can update these this particular spreadsheet we're going to refer to. In any case, why we're fielding kind of counters and also armor up builders is really important because, well, it is important but not important. So it's not important because regardless, when struck, the defender gains a chitting charge at 10, all charges are removed, and defender gains an armor up buff, increasing armor up by 50%, lasting 30 seconds. And each time the defender is struck while under the effect of an armor up buff, they will power burn the attacker for 10% of a bar of power. Power burn damage scales with each armor up buff as well as the defender's base attack. And as I said, this is important and not important. It's not important because the champion will build armor up, but what is incredibly important is maybe if you field champions as your defense options, which have armor up buffs at the start of the fight, just snap like that as soon as you kind of like get going, or very easy to build it. I mean, I'll give you a few examples of some really kind of cool options. We're going to look at a spreadsheet in a second, which I think should be in the description, but there's some really cool options. So first of all, Cosmic Ghost Rider. So we'll just take a champion in to practice against it. Not going to take a Mystic in. I just need anything really. So I'll just throw in Gallon, for example. Now the thing is, it's not about playing this, but showcasing something that's really important. So if you're going up against Cosmic Ghost Rider, as soon as you start kind of getting a little bit kind of aggressive, you can see, look at that. Look what's being built there. Armor up buffs. So that really kind of like gets you right off the bat as another option of champion that is going to be quite frustrating as a defensive option. And there's a few more like this. So a lot of these seem to be in the tech line, which is great, by the way. It means we can just kind of look at another option. Another one of my ranked up champions is Nimrod. Again, we'll go against practice against Nimrod. We'll take in Gallon. Again, we're not playing Gallon here. This is all about showcasing how quick it is to get the armor up buff. So right there, look at that. The armor up buff is right there. As the champion will cycle through the protocol, or kind of like the kind of build of charge to the far right hand corner, it will then be a case that if you don't get Nimrod down quickly, he will gain another armor up buff. Now, there are other champions like this. You got your Warlocks, you got your Guillotine 2099. Those become really cool defensive options, which you can see right here. As I said, link to this is in the description down below. And there's several. There's Colossus, there's Angela, there's Black Panther Civil War. A lot of them seem to be in the tech line and, you know, can be very much kind of triggers at the start. And that's what we're going to look at as defensive options. And as I said, you don't have to have these as in your defensive deck. I'm going to experiment around with some stuff, but at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to kind of like note whether or not people also, like other people, play into the narrative of the node, which Kabam have put in for this Season 4 of Battlegrounds. But countering it is very, very important, and there are some options. Now, one cool option to counter, like we've got here with Warlock, is Medusa. Medusa and many other champions, which you just saw right there, just boom, taking down that to armor as soon as it comes up. Stops, well, I don't know if it would completely stop just at that particular point, because if you're hitting like just boom, hit snap, it depends if like the interaction is the armor break cancels out the armor as quickly as then you'd be stung by the node itself. That may be the case, may not be the case. It will just largely depend. Now, if in a general sense, if a champion is still building up that armor, you can suppress it. So you could go down two routes. You can either go down the counter by armor break, or counter by nullify / stagger to take down the enemy. This kind of like puts you into two separate sections of countering, whether or not you're, and it's very much kind of cosmic led, but there are some other options. You know, after 9 anti-metal, throwing an SP1 will do that with throw an armor break for Misty Knight. But again, this is all about quick timing, and you have to be quick in 10 seconds. That first 10 seconds is going to be pivotal for you to be able to suppress the armor so you don't get stung by the power burn. So that's going to be key. So it's going to be key about quick rotations, whether you're going down the route of stagger and nullify and going, okay, well, you know, Dr. Doom's there, Sasquatch is there, Juggernaut, for example, heavy attack, boom, there you go. And it's kind of like you've got that. Mephisto starts off with his soul imprisonment, and he's able to nullify right off the rip. You've got Hood, Ebony Maw, and also there's some other options. Science-wise, don't underestimate the power of Mr. Fantastic with stagger off the SP1, Anti-Venom's heavy attack, Titania's heavy attack, and I'm sure there's a lot of others that I've missed off this. But I thought it was quite interesting to do a video just to kind of look at different and various options of kind of defensive qualities, and there are tons of defensive quality champions which, you know, are on here. Whether or not you want to put the likes of, I don't think anybody's going to do Red Skull as a defensive option, but your Black Panthers, Angels, as I said, that Colossus being a defensive option, even Cosmic Ghost Rider being a defensive option. Bit out there, but at the same time, because you're hitting into the champion, he's building up that, and it building up those armors. And yes, it will be a case of going like, okay, well, if the enemy goes, fine, I will kind of throw against any of these listed champions here to counter, then it kind of null and voids it. But you may want to consider bringing in a lot more of options of defense against the offense and seeing what happens. I'll be experimenting around with it. I'm sure a lot of people will be trying to play into the node, and especially as it gets more kind of sweatier the further you go, especially into Gladiator Circuit. There's also going to be some others as well that'll be quite good. A Mega Sentinel, Infamous Iron Man. What I think both, are they both champions going into the featured, or one is, no, a Mega Sentinel's already in the featured. No, it's gone from the featured. But Infamous Iron Man will be in the featured, so that's going to be important. Also, a lot of these champions are a few which are immune to certain things. Civil Warrior is an interesting proposal because it's immune to stagger. There's also Nimrod, which has the armor. It's immune to armor break, which is good as well because what it does, it suppresses that right there on that that element of coverage of armor break. So there are some kind of clever little champions to put in for it, but again, it just depends on like who fields what, who counters what, and stuff like that. But I thought this was an interesting video to put together. Hope you enjoyed it. I want to do some more videos like this in the future, and kind of as I try and kind of get myself more involved with stuff that goes on with Battlegrounds. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the link in the description for this, and I'll see you soon. Check out some other content located on screen. Much love, everybody. Have a great day. There should be one more video today. Bye-bye! You can look at certain champions that have armor up at the start of a fight. By doing so, it means that that particular interaction is snip, snap, snip, sneep. It's snip, sneep.